Good Saturday morning. This is the conclusion of the Book of Wisdom. I don't understand the first part of the text, okay, but I read it to you. But the rest of it, the second part as it rolls along, I think I have it. He said, when peaceful stillness compassed everything, peaceful stillness, and the night in its swift course was half spent, your all-powerful word from heaven's royal throne bounded, a fierce warrior, into the doomed land, bearing the sharp sword of your inexorable decree. And as he alighted, he filled every place with death. That's the part I don't understand. He still reached to heaven while he stood upon the earth. I don't understand that. Then he goes on, for all creation in its several kinds was being made ever anew, serving its natural laws, that your children might be preserved unharmed. The cloud overshadowed their camp, and out of what had before been water, dry land was seen emerging. This is the account of Exodus. This is a recapitulation of Exodus, as it were. See? Out of the Red Sea, an unimpeded road, and a grassy plain out of the mighty flood. Over this crossed the whole nation, sheltered by your hand, after they beheld stupendous wonders. For they ranged about like horses and bounded about like lambs, praising you, O Lord, their deliverer. It's the redemption theme. He's giving a recapitulation of Exodus, the crossing of the Red Sea. But now from death to life. It's what I take it as, from death to life. Yeah. I think that probably is the final wisdom. The final wisdom is that we will be together, as it were, in paradise, crossing the Red Sea. The Red Sea is the Red Sea of death. I think that's what it means. Yeah. The Book of Wisdom is a wisdom of hope, rooted in the beauty of God and the beauty of creation itself, the beauty and goodness of all that is real and true. I think it is wise to be able to look upon life, ask no more of it than it can give, but at the same time treasuring what it does give in its beauty, its life. I mean that as we live, we treasure the life we have. See? Yes. Something along that line. I'm not doing a very good job at this thing, but I don't want to keep repeating myself on all of these, but I think that's... My father said something to me just before he died, not long. He still had his wits, so maybe 5 or 10 years before he died. He said, I've enjoyed my life because the old man never asked more of life than he could give. I told you that 1,000 times. Many times. He was a chef, okay, and that was his training. He was a waiter, but by and large, it was really where his heart was. He was a chef. He could cook anything. I mean, my father was the finest cook I ever knew. I gave the highest compliment I could to my friend Ted Shellhart, Junie's son-in-law, Karen Clodius Shellhart's husband, Ted. He was in the restaurant business for quite some time, and I paid him the highest compliment. He's the best cook that I know in comparison to my father. Second only to my father. That is a compliment, because my father was a superb chef. But at the same time, my father didn't ask a hamburger to taste like lobster. If he's eating a lobster, he savored the lobster. If he was eating pig's knuckles, that's what he used to like. He enjoyed the pig's knuckle, and he didn't ask one thing to be the other. When my father went fishing, when he took me especially, but when he went fishing, he treasured the moments on the beach, or he treasured the moments in the boat, and didn't ask it to be other than it was. We had a little 5.5 horsepower Johnson. He didn't envy the guy who had a 25. He enjoyed the 5.5. He didn't ask more than it could give, and that is consummate wisdom. The more I look back at my family, I see the wisdom that was in that house. My father was an uneducated, extraordinarily wise man. There was a Jewish couple, that came to his funeral. I told you this, I think. He said he made the food taste better. In the restaurant, okay? Made the food taste better by talking to us. He was talking about the ball scores, New York Yankees. My father talked only about life. Isn't that neat? To think that, to somebody say, he made our lives, he made the dinner taste better just by being there and talking to us. So I think I was so blessed by it. Didn't know it at the time. Everybody thinks the other guy's got the better parents. But there was a wisdom in our household. My mother had it too, very wise. She was the peacekeeper in the family. Not my immediate family, the whole family, her Sebs, the cousins and all. She was my aunt. Who was this said that to me? My aunt Marguerite said, your mom, her sister-in-law, my mom was a peacemaker. She had a way of making the peace. That takes wisdom, to see what is true, good, and beautiful and not lose sight of it. See, I was extraordinarily blessed. I didn't see it when I was growing up, and then I'll tell you a true story. I was in the Monasterio station in Hartford, and we went swimming, and Father Norbert Dorsey was our director, and he said something to me, because I called home from the beach on whatever beach it is in New London, and I said, hey, there's a bunch of us going to come to dinner? And he said, yeah. My father said, sure. When can you get here? I said, well, in about an hour. He said, okay, it's good. Well, we got there in an hour and a half, and my mother made hors d'oeuvres. My father produced an entire dinner in 1 hour's notice. And one of my classmates, Jim Palermo, said, you have an extraordinary family. I didn't know that. And then Father Norbert said to me, you don't appreciate your family enough. It made me look and see what I saw but didn't see. I began to understand it. To this day, I treasure it. I treasure my family. I remember them with great love and gratitude. They were wise in their love, and they were faithful. They were honorable people, wise and faithful and loving, not in a schmaltzy kind of way, in a very serious kind of way, in the very depth of fidelity itself. That's the truth. I had to be a man before I could see it. I was a grown man before I was almost 30 years old before I began to realize the wisdom of my family, its goodness and its beauty. It's true. I hope my brother sees that, and my sister-in-law, Carol and Michelle. I hope she sees that in her grandfather and grandmother. I think so. You have to grow out of your childhood to see the beauty of your home and its wisdom. In the beginning, you think everyone else has a better deal. In the end, you're grateful for the family you were given and in which you grew. I know I am. I hope I'm as good a man as my father. I hope I'm as faithful and wise as both of them, my mother and my father. And I hope I will never dishonor the Vitali name. I told you on the endowed chair, the Vitali chair, I said to Dan Habron, who is the chair holder, I said, Dan, deporta mi nome, you carry my name, honor it. Now go do your job. Honor my name, my family name, honor it. I meant it. I said to him what my mother said to me. Do whatever you're going to do. Do it well. Never disgrace our family. Honor our family name. There's a wisdom in that. There is a profound wisdom in that.